Okay, so you've taken some time to review the syllabus video, and now I want to go further in depth in the grading contract. So here is the link to the grading contract. Just go ahead and click that and it will open for you. And this is an important conversation to have because the grades in this class are different than grades in traditional classes. So what do I mean by that? I hope that you have taken the time to read through this grading contract so you at least have a basic understanding of where we're coming from. But when we think of writing is a skill, just like any other kind of skill. So I use the examples of omelets or a cooking class or yoga. If you were at the library and you saw a flyer that I was advertising these classes here, you would maybe come to my home or go to my yoga studio and we would practice together and you would experiment and try different things and have some successes and some areas for improvement. And all of that would involve getting feedback from me, learning from your peers, and generally participating in a learning environment, but you would never really have any grades in those situations, right? And when we think about grades, when we enter the realm where we're being graded, our tendencies about grades change. The social dynamics of a classroom creates this is impacted by grades. Instructors provide students and participants with feedback, pointing out where you can improve. But if you have a grade associated with something, then that becomes kind of a roadblock. And if, like many people, you have had less than positive experiences writing, the grades can be even more of a detriment. So I know, for example, when I was in college, when I was an undergraduate in college, I remember one of my very first classes, one of my very first English classes, I spent hours and hours crafting this, what I thought was an amazing research paper, and I got my feedback from my instructor and it was not very positive and my grade was not very good. And I was really disappointed and frustrated. And I didn't know how to make it better. The instructor had given me some suggestions, but they didn't really make sense to me. And because I was sensitive about my writing, I didn't feel comfortable going and talking to them. And so I just kind of stuck it out with my bad grade, and that ended up impacting my grade in the course overall. So I want to challenge that structure a little bit, and I want to make this a class that is more inclusive to you because it relies less upon grades and more upon the process and feedback and experience of being a writer. So what does that mean? Everyone starts this class with a B. So rather than working towards some grade, you have a B in this class right now. Everybody has a B. So you have the ability to improve your B by doing more labor, and you also have the ability to lower your B by doing less labor. And all of this is explained in this document. This doesn't mean that you're not going to get feedback from me or that you'll be spending the semester wondering what your grade is. At any point, you should be able to log into Moodle and see where you're at based on the assignments that you've turned in, if you have any late work or missed assignments, and what additional labor you've done. A lot of the time, be aware that I will be looking at everything you do in the class. You won't receive grades from me. I may not even comment directly on your work, but I want you to start to rely on your colleagues and yourself for assessment and revision advice to start to develop strategies for self-assessment that are apart from a teacher's approval. This course is all about helping you feel more comfortable and more confident, and we will focus on the process over the product, so you'll have the chance to revise and improve your writing as much as you want to. So basically, the class is based on the amount of labor you put in. I have each week broken the assignments into things to read, things to watch, things to write and do, and then additional labor you can do to increase your grade. So each week, if you do the work that's asked of you in the manner and spirit asked, you're working towards the process, you'll get to maintain your B. It won't matter what I think or what your colleagues think of your writing, only that you listen to our feedback compassionately and that you take it into account. We may disagree or misunderstand your writing, but if you put in the labor, you're guaranteed a B, which is a 3.0 in the course. If you don't participate fully, if you turn assignments in late, forget to do assignments, or do less labor than what's expected of you, you'll get a lower grade, and there's a chart explaining this below. So what do B grades entail? In order to maintain your B grade, you have to meet all of the following conditions. So participation. Yes, we are not meeting with one another weekly, but you are still expected to participate. So I expect you to fully participate in at least 80% of the weekly discussion boards. So there will be more information about that on the syllabus and Moodle. So that's 12 out of 16. The discussion boards are very important to this class because we won't be meeting face-to-face. So this professional collegial communication has to happen in a different way, and that's why discussion boards are so important. And remember, this is an academic environment. Disrespect will be addressed very quickly and will not be tolerated. So, we also work towards sharing and collaboration. We'll be working in some small groups. You will be reviewing one another's work. And I think we should also have some discussion on what to expect from each other. If you have ideas about what sharing and collaboration looks like, I'd like you to use the comment feature here to add a comment to this to say, what does sharing and collaboration look like to you? The third is late and incomplete work. So you agree to turn in properly and on time all work and assignments expected of you, which means you'll complete all of the labor instructions for each assignment. During the semester, you may be allowed to turn in a few assignments late, and it's stipulated on the table. So late work is defined as any work or document due that is turned in after the due date, but within 48 hours of the deadline. So for example, if I say, ask you for some reflection, it was due on Sunday, August 23rd at 11:59. If you turn it in by 11:59 p.m. Tuesday, August 25th, it will be late, but it will still count. Missed work is if you turn in late work after the 48 hours stipulated in number 3, the item we just discussed, then it's considered missed work, which is a more serious mark against your grading contract. This is due to the fact that all assignments that are basically used in class when they're due. There's a reason things are due when they're due, and it's to help us build on skills, to help us give feedback to each other, to help us along in our process. So if you don't turn in assignments, it really impacts that. Ignored work is when you just simply don't turn any work in. I have no record of you doing it or turning it in. So my belief behind this is that ignoring the work so crucial to your development as a learner in our community is unacceptable, basically. Accumulating any ignored work will keep you from meeting our contract expectations. See the table below again. So all labor, work, writing needs to meet the following conditions. It needs to be turned in complete and on time. Revisions. You should, when the job is to revise your thinking and work, you reshape, extend, complicate, or substantially clarify your ideas. You won't just correct or touch up things. Revisions help to show how you've responded to or considered your colleagues and my suggestions in order to be a more effective writer. Also, all projects should include copy editing. So the final product, the final publication of a draft, this doesn't have to happen in the steps towards the final draft. Your work has to be well copy edited. So spending significant time looking at spelling and grammar. So everybody starts with a B. What if you want to get an A? Because some of you do want to get an A, right? So as this course, all grades are depending upon the labor that you do. So if you do more labor, you have a chance towards earning a better grade. So additional labor options you can complete to work towards an A grade. You can complete substantial revisions of at least 2 essays after you receive feedback from me. You can also complete at least 3 additional labors. More details will be provided on each of the project handouts and on Moodle. Or you can do more in-depth work for 2 of the 4 assigned projects. So this could be writing a longer piece, including more research, going above and beyond to make it an extra labor. Just like you can increase your grade can also decrease. So I hope that no one in this class is aiming for a grade lower than a B. The quickest way to slide from a C to a D or an F is to miss class, not turn things in on time, turn in sloppy or rushed work, or show up without assignments. And if you don't participate in 80% of the weekly discussions and meet the guidelines above, you cannot get a B. You can't just turn in all of the late work at the end of the semester, so be aware of that. This is an accumulative thing. Each week, labor is expected of you, and if you don't complete that labor, then you are putting your B in danger. If you're missing classes or discussion boards and you're getting behind in the work, please stay in touch with me and let me know what's going on, because I want to help you be successful, and I will help you know where you stand. But it's once you get behind, it can be difficult to get caught up without staying in touch with me. So knowing where you stand, you should be able to calculate that pretty well. But if you ever have questions, you can check with me and I'll tell you what I have recorded. So here is that table that I kept alluding to when I was talking. So it tells you what you need to do to get certain grades. So to get an A, number of weekly discussion boards, number of late assignments, number of missed assignments. So remember, late means you turned it in within 48 hours. Missed means you turned it in after 48 hours of the due date. Ignored means you didn't turn it in at all. And then the amount of additional labor required. So we can see for our B, we need to have 12 discussion boards. You can have 3 late assignments, 2 missed assignments, and 1 completely ignored assignment. In order to maintain your B, you don't need to do any additional projects. If you want to bump up to an A, you have to have all of your weekly discussion boards, 14 out of 16. You're still allowed some late assignments. You can still miss assignments, and you can also still have 1 ignored assignment, but you also have to complete at least 3 additional labors in order to improve your B. Similarly, if you see here in the C, you can drop from a B to a C if you don't complete your discussion boards, if you have a number 4 or more missing assignments, 3 or more late assignments, or 1 or more ignored assignment. So that gives you an overview of our grading contract chart. Please refer to this often and keep yourself up to date. And if you have questions about where you are at with your grade, just let me know. I also think that it's important, especially right now, that we have a little bit of flexibility with our grading. So I have a gimme here. You may come to me as soon as possible at any point during the semester if you're unable to meet the contract before you've breached the contract, in order that you and I can make fair and equitable arrangements, and ones that will be fair and equitable to all in the class while still meeting the university's regulations on attendance, conduct, and workload in the class. You can use the Give Me for any reason, but only once per semester. So the plea is not an out clause for anyone who happens to not fulfill the contract in some way. It is rare and unusual circumstances out of the control of the student. And in that case, you and I would work out an agreement that maintains the integrity of the course and allows you to fulfill it in a way that is possible for you. But you have to contact me before you've breached the contract in order to make sure that we can come to an agreement about that. So by staying in this course and attending class, participating online on Moodle, you accept this contract and agree to abide by it. I, Melody, also agree to abide by the contract and administer it fair and equitably. And if you feel I'm not doing that, then please contact me, because we need to have a conversation about that. And here's a little infographic about when your grades are based in labor, how different it is, and what you can do, which I think kind of really clearly solidifies why I've switched to a labor-based grading contract. So once again, as with all of the course materials, please take the time to review this information fully and read through this agreement carefully. There's a lot of stuff in here, and I know that this is a much different approach to classes than you're probably used to. So when you have questions, utilize any of these channels on Moodle, the 102 student hours, a quick question on Flipgrid, or contact me via email or reach out to me via Google Voice, and we will get your questions answered.